Motherhood is the biggest sisterhood of them all. Before we became mothers, we were individuals with hopes, dreams, and aspirations. But sometimes, as mothers, we lose sight of ourselves through the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Hi, I'm your host, Dawn Imani. Just a friendly mother that wants to chat about raising kids, chasing dreams, and highlighting the many inspirational stories of the mothers that do it. Just like that. So pull up, grab yourself a motherly beverage, and get ready to ride this roller coaster we call life. Condensed into a show. Welcome to MYLF Podcast, and it's time to meet today's mother you'd like to friend.
I'm here.
Yay! How are you?
I'm sorry. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. Look at you.
I know you look beautiful.
You look beautiful. Always. Yeah. Always. I've been looking at your pictures like, oh girl, I need to.
Yes, I'm trying to be a model.
Saw the muscles and everything.
I was surprised by the picture. When they sent it to me, I was like, oh, I like my arms in this picture. I was surprised. Like, okay.
Yeah, now you're going to be one of those people that need like somebody like oil you up on set. I need an oiler on set, please. Guns glistening.
I do have something like that. I'm going to tag you when I post something like that.
Please do. I enjoy seeing people thrive and you know, when they reach a new level of wherever they're at. So officially, I just want to say thank you for being a part of my show. I was so excited for accepting the invitation to be a part of MYLF Podcast. I mean, you are strong, literally, figuratively, mentally, emotionally. I feel like every time I see you, I'm like rooting for you in the background, and I
appreciate that. I do. Thank you.
And I think so many people will agree once they get to know you that you are just an amazing woman and an amazing mother, and you are such a great example. So tell us a little bit about Lavitza. Miss Storm. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lavitza Cameron, and I am so happy to be here today. Thank you, Dawn, for inviting me. I am a mother, like it's called mothers. You'd like to friend. I am a mother. I have 2 babies. Now, my babies aren't really babies. People say they're not babies, but they're my babies. They're 12 and 14, almost 13 and 15. So I have almost 2 teenagers. I basically have 2 teenagers right now. I have been acting since I was young, like in schools, like school plays and stuff like that. So I've always wanted to act. I went to school and got my degree in theater from Temple, ATU. After that, I had gotten, married and had my kids. So it kind of slowed down. The acting kind of slowed down because I had little infants to take care of, little people. And then eventually got older. I started bringing them to me to like with me on sets of rehearsals for plays and not so much the films, but as they got older. Then went through, divorce, and I started really picking up my acting again once I got through all that. So now I'm back to full-time acting. I left my job in 2018, so I became an entrepreneur. One of my jobs is SaSSinator, which is simply administrative strategic solutions. So with that business, I help other entrepreneurs like myself with their administrative work. Whatever help they need to get their stuff flowing naturally as it's supposed to keep the business running. They need extra help. They contact me and my specialist team, who I have now, we help them out and service them. And my other business is Storms of Defense. This is the one where I teach martial arts, self-defense, and actually started doing workout classes too with women. Usually it's targeted for women and children, but I do men also. So I've been doing martial arts since I was 11 years old. So now at my nice young age, my birthday is actually Friday, I have a 5th degree black belt. So I love to fight. I fight mainly men because I'm one of the only females in the dojo. And my goal with that is to teach women how to defend themselves. I want them to know, it's important to me that they know that just because they're smaller, usually we're physically smaller in our size and our strength compared to our counterparts, the males. So I want to teach women that doesn't matter what size they are, they can still defend themselves with techniques. If they learn simple like wrist locks and elbows, just how to maneuver the body, and just be aware of their surroundings, basic safety techniques. Lastly, my most recent venture business has been my production company, Lady Ninja Storm Productions. I also go by Lady Ninja Storm for Storm. So I call it Lady Ninja Storm Productions to expand my brand. And with that, I wrote some of my own films because I want to see myself in roles that I'm not usually getting, but I don't want the typical girlfriend, boyfriend, relationship type roles or the mother role. I want different, roles where I can fight. So I can combine my martial arts and my love acting together. And then I also want to create different ways of doing things on set than what I see. So I just want to just open up opportunities and create a space for myself to really have a platform where I can show people all that I'm capable of doing. So it's not just limited to what they're casting me as. I want to just create my own opportunities. So I guess that's it. Hi, guys.
Yes. We met 6 years ago on the set of Singledom. And yep. I got to know you a little bit afterwards.
Right.
We started communicating. I didn't know you when your children were like super young, like infants.
Right. They were already older. But
yeah. I didn't realize, how in acting, it's so hard when you're a mother to have your kids tag along and kind of be a part of the set. And
I know.
I felt that. I felt when you said that, like, bringing your children along to set and kind of not even really being able to do all the things that you want to do because you just have this responsibility. And how do you feel about that with being a mom? And I know we spoke a little bit about it with your previous partner, not really being fully accepting of your acting. How did you feel about that when you were trying to pursue your dream of acting, or one of your dreams of acting, and you didn't really have the support of your partner?
Right. I felt like I was limited. I didn't want to say, I just didn't know how my dreams were going to come into fruition, because I had 2 babies. Even if they were little toddlers, they still needed mommy. They needed Pampers, change. So it's just like, I was able to sometimes, eventually, when it became like maybe 5 years old, I started going out to sets and stuff again and rehearsing. But then it became, I guess, maybe a little taxing on the relationship, because like, oh, she's going to rehearsal, because I was working full time too. And I want to go to rehearsal, but I didn't feel like I was just a wife or just a mother. But it was still, before that, it was still Lavitza and the dreams I had, I wanted to pursue. So eventually, one of my best friends, my sister, Denise, she convinced me, showed me that it wasn't all over because I had kids. Like, no, you can still do it. Why can't you do it with kids? Other people bring their kids along. So I started sometimes, once in a while, if I couldn't have anyone to watch them, just bring them with me. Then as they got older, they don't want to do anything with acting. They don't want to be on set. They're like, can we just stay home? So now they're old enough to stay home by themselves. So that's good. But they don't want anything to do with this world that I'm in. I'm just mommy. Like, can we have some money? When is dinner? What is dinner for dinner? Stuff like that. So it became a little easier once they became older. But when they were really little, it was definitely hard, because I still had to do my daughter's hair. She's learning how to do her hair now, but it was still like every day to my daughter's hair, make sure they had their baths, help with homework. Since they're middle school and high school now, they're self-sufficient right now. They're more independent, so they can take care of the little needs that little people probably need. They're able to do all those things on their own now. So a little easier, I will say.
Yeah, now that they're older, you can kind of break free a little bit. But when they're younger, they're not as independent, and some people don't feel comfortable. Like, other family members may not feel comfortable watching a younger baby, and you might not feel comfortable with certain people watching your children.
Then there are limitations with how long they want to watch them. Do I feel okay? And how late you're going to be? And I don't know. I'm on set. We don't know we're going to wrap, and it's just like, okay, they still have to go to work in the morning. So.
Right, because tough. On set, there's so many different variables. You don't know what time you're going to get home. You may start at call time might be 6 a.m. So that means you got to leave at, depending on where location is, you might have to leave. Like, when I would go to New York, I'd have to leave at like 2 o'clock in the morning to be to a 6 a.m. call time. And I might not get home till 10 o'clock. And that wasn't even the main role. That was like background.
Right.
You know?
Because you had to do it.
Yeah, you had to be there. You had to be present. And when you're acting, you have to be present. You know, people can see right through someone that's just pretending, you know, like, oh, that person is trying to act versus,
because we're actors ourselves and we know.
We have to be in the moment. We have to live truthfully in that moment. But I think also as mothers, we have to be in that moment with our children, because our children will feel that if we're disconnected, if we're doing something and we're not really there with them. So do you feel as though your children see that now that they're older? Have they expressed any of that sense to you?
I feel like a little bit, simply because I left corporate America 2 years ago in October 2018. So then now it is solely dependent on me working, which I don't have regular hours. So I have to make my schedule according to the kids, and I need to cook dinner, but that means I got to do work later on when they're probably out of school and they need my time. But they might say, hey, well, we want this. So I have to explain to them, well, if you want this, mommy still has to work. Like, if literally, you don't work, you don't eat, you don't have the money to pay. So I have to do the stuff for the business. It may not be the most ideal times for them, but I'm trying to provide a better lifestyle for us overall. So they have to, I try to explain it to them. I know it's so hard for them to understand, but it's hard for them to understand. Mommy's trying to do it all. And I'm trying to get money from here. Like, one business is a little slow, but the other businesses got to balance out to pay the bills. And and they need stuff. Like, oh my goodness, they're so big. Like, my son wears like 11 or 12 in shoes. Like, you know how much that costs? They need things, and they're always growing. They need clothes. So I'm just giving them money. Like, okay, you need this, but mommy has to work if you need this. I can't always listen to you right now. Like, this client needs my time because you also want this stuff, which the client pays for by the service I provide. So it's just trying to balance that.
And that's what you just said. I'm sorry about your client, because you are a business owner. So now it's a lot different when you are working for someone, working for corporate America. You're working 9 to 5. You go to work and then you come home. You get off of work and you come home and you're at home. But when you are a business owner, you are 24/7 whenever that client needs you. And for you, I guess a lot of your businesses, you have to be there at that place at that time. But when you come home, there's paperwork you got to file.
Right.
There's, things important documents that need to be signed or whatever. So you're not stopping. And, but it can be done. But it can be done. And
I just try to balance out the time with them. Like, okay, I can set this amount of times. I try to have my Saturdays for my daughter in the afternoons, so we can go out and do stuff. Weekends they're with me. My son is he's more chill. He's at the age where he just wants to play in his video games, and he doesn't want to go anywhere anyway. So she wants to go shopping and hang out with friends. So I'm like, okay, we'll do this play date. I'll come pick their friends up. We'll go out there. And then it becomes to the point where the kids, they're sometimes embarrassed of me. They are, because I like the kind of music they listen to. I also listen to, like Megan Thee Stallion, for example, will be in the car and her girlfriends will be like, "Oh, your mom knows all the words," and my daughter's like, "Yeah, she listens to her all the time." But that's me. That's who I am. So their friends are like, "Oh, yeah, your mom." They're just embarrassed, and then their friends will spam them. She's like, "Why do your friends follow you?" So their friends have a group text where they'll send like 5-6 pictures of me, they screenshot from my Instagram page in the group text with my daughter, and she's like, "Mom," I'm like, "Sorry."
Sorry, boo. Mommy's got it. Mommy still got it. So you're gonna have to live with that.
Yeah, and I said I was actually the same way when I was younger, when they were younger, but it didn't click until they got older and more mature in middle school. Like, yo, mommy is really, they call me extra cringy, embarrassing. I'm out there. I'm over the top. I do too much. That's all the words they tell me. But I'm just like, that's still me though. That's my personality. But they're more chill and laid back than I am. So,
It's called balance.
Right. That's the word.
You're balancing out there, chill. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
Right.
I do it too. I'm always in the car screaming at the top of my lungs when I'm singing a song, and the kids are like, "Oh my God!" Like,
I know. Wait, can you sing, Dawn?
I can sing.
You can sing?
Yeah, girl, I can sing. But it don't matter. Like, you in the car, that's your car. You paid that bill, so you gonna have that concert. Okay?
Yeah, and they'll turn to me like, "Mommy, do you think you can sing? I'm like, no, I know I can't, but that's my song. They tell me that. I'm like, I know. I was like, I used to sing in a young adult choir. You did? Yes. They're just so like baffled by all this. Like, mommy.
Yeah, see, kids they only knew after you became a mom. They didn't know that you were a whole person and had a whole life.
That's what I tell people. That's how people, I feel like.
Leilani's now, she's interjecting.
Oh, hey, Leilani.
I understood.
Like when,
you had a life, but now you have a new life. With a child.
Thank
a lot
you.
of them.
Yeah, I've got a lot. They've accumulated over the years.
Right. People tell me, like, sometimes I know they, on social media, how I post, they don't even realize that I had a whole life. Like, yeah, I've been married, divorced. I have two almost teenage children. They don't realize because I just post myself. And we'll never see your kids. They don't want to be pictured. They don't want to be on my page. They're like, no, they don't want me to tag them. They don't want, like, they don't, it's just me. So they don't realize this life. But when I'm not on social media, I mean, I do have to advertise and stuff because it's part of my business. But when I'm not on there, I'm still mommy. I'm still like, I know I had to do this interview today, so I had to program my schedule for the week knowing I didn't have the kids yesterday, but I need to cook dinner yesterday afternoon because today I knew I had this interview, had to do other things scheduled throughout my day. I wouldn't have time. So I had to cook yesterday for today and tomorrow. So I just got to know when to do it. Like when we're done this, I'm probably going to go wash clothes, do laundry while they're still in school. So I got to plan my day accordingly. What's on my calendar? This needs to happen. This needs to happen. You need this. Okay, when can I schedule it? So some days I don't get enough sleep or naps like I would like to, but it all gets done some kind of way, for the most part. Not every time, but
yeah. And that's the question. I don't know how you do it. Well, somebody's got to do it. So
right.
I'm going to do it. You know, my family needs to eat. My home needs to be clean.
Yep.
And the instruments need to be played. So I didn't realize that that you had gotten divorced. If you don't mind me bringing that up, but I think that is an interesting story to tell because you know some people, like I'm married, and sometimes when things get hard, it's kind of scary to just put it all down and start over again.
It was. I had to rebrand myself after it. Like I had to take on the brand Lavitza Cameron. Cameron is actually my daughter's middle name. So I used her middle name and I incorporated that, Lavitza Cameron Incorporated. So that way my business will go under it. So I just needed that brand. If my name isn't legally changed, I just needed that because I had, when I was acting before, when I was married, I had a whole different name and everything. So then once I took a 2-year hiatus from life, like period, I was depressed off and on for 2 years. I think it was around the time I was probably talking to you. And then during that time, I went to grad school, got my master's in business administration. And then when I came back to acting a few years ago, I just rebranded myself because some people who knew me before, like even before when I was married, and other people who knew me afterwards, they were like, oh, you have kids. They didn't know my previous life. So I had to like, I guess, let the two different worlds who remembered me from different ways, parts of my lifetimes, explain to them. So now I just do the whole Lavitza Cameron brand and just was able to, once we divorced, I found myself able to just, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, whatever my heart desires. Like recently started a production company like 2 weeks ago. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Like not having to consult with anyone, take anyone's feelings to consideration, giving me that time being single to just do all the things I want to do or things I didn't even know I wanted to do. Like I didn't know I wanted to be a business owner. Like that's new. I didn't think I would. I know I wanted to masters. I didn't know what it was in, but it's just different things that just flourish. You realize you're good at, that you're passionate about, and you're like, yo, I want to do it. So I'm just going to do it. Like when I started Stones of Defense, someone else was like, well, when are you going to start teaching? And I was just like, I never thought of myself as a teacher. I've just been training all these years. So the very next day, I just put a page out and just started it, like just like that. So that's what I do. I'm like, oh, I have an idea. I just started and put it under my EIN, under my business corporation. Just do it. Just because I want to and believe I'm good at it and prosper, you know?
That is so awesome. That is so inspiring. And I remember when you first advertised your SaSSinize Simply Administrative Strategic Solutions. SaSSinize.
That's why the acronym is there.
Yeah, I see it. But I remember that. I do. I very clearly remember because you did fall off. And I'm like, where is she? She stopped talking to me.
That's when I went on hiatus from life. I did. I took like 2 years. I know I have to talk, and I just stopped doing life, period. I just took care of the kids, and I wasn't working. I had lost my husband, lost my job. I had surgery on my foot. I was just done, like, everything was a lot. So I just completely on the face of the earth, almost.
And that's, you know, you have to take back, what is that? Reclaim my time. You have to reclaim yourself. You have, you know, because I've been through some struggles too, and I'm not going to name them out here right now, but, you know, I've had to go back into myself and really focus on what it was, or at least what direction I'm going, because just like you said, like, you didn't know, you knew you wanted a business, or you knew you wanted to be in business in some kind of way, but you didn't know how that would manifest. When you took that time for yourself, you didn't know what direction that was going to lead you into. But I think sometimes when you just allow yourself to follow the voice of God, I don't know how spiritual you are.
Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, I'm
just
saved. I was going to say that.
He puts you where you need to be, and you just follow. You just have to take that leap of faith and just go with it.
Exactly. That definitely was a leap of faith, all of it. And you don't realize, like, where that God's plan for your life, and where no matter what happens, it'll still come to fruition. Even if you had to take wrong turns, it'll still like, oh, this is what my purpose in life was to do, you know? So that, I believe that's how it works also. At least it did in my life. So I'm like, okay. I'm just waiting for it, like, it all to manifest. Like, all these ideas and stuff I have to all see it. I see so far into the future for my life, my family's life. It's like, oh my goodness, it's just so slow going sometimes, and it's so frustrating. And I was like, okay, you got to do it. It's no turning back, because I already left my job. Like, I know that since I did that, I know I don't want to go back to a full-time 9 to 5 anymore. I know that, even though it's hard sometimes as an entrepreneur, I know I don't want to do that. Yeah. And then even the bad things that happen to your life, you realize later it was a blessing in disguise, how they say. It really, really was. Like, if I was still married, I don't think I would be doing all the things I would be doing right now. I really don't believe I would be. It just gave me time to really find myself again as an adult. Because, you know, because you're married, you know, you change during marriage because you're still growing. You're always growing and evolving. So different things. So you may not be the same person that you married, but you still will grow together. So it's just always changing.
Exactly. You hit some really key points. Now, I want to talk to you about your one particular business, Storms of Defense, because I feel like it's so interesting. Like, normally, my parents were martial artists. My husband's actually a martial artist.
My husband and I were on set together. We talked. Yeah. I didn't realize your parents were martial artists too.
Yeah. My dad
like
was a
family.
black belt. Yeah. Yes. Like your
parents. So cool.
Your parents are so cute too. Your parents are so cute. I love seeing the stories that you post about them. And I never really got into martial arts. They did put my brother and I, in classes, but we never made it past. I think I was an orange belt or something, like, you know.
Okay, you stopped early. Okay.
I stopped pretty early. But yeah, I tried. And, you know, it's never too late. But you know, I think, especially in the world of acting, you know, Black women are so sometimes limited in their roles. And I thought it was interesting that you are, you know, a martial artist, and I love that. I love seeing that side of, you know, that Black women. And this show isn't really about just Black women, but because we are Black women, you know, to see that representation is so important. To see the diversity and what a Black woman could be and a Black mother could be. You are still literally kicking ass, you know, and you got receipts to prove it, you know, and I mean, you look great doing it.
Thank you.
And it also, just in terms of acting, it broadens your scope. I'm sure it allows for roles that, you know, may not have been afforded to you had you not had that ability, that skill. And I also loved what you said about, you know, with your production company and with your Storms of Defense, you created that path for yourself, you know. So who cares if there's no movies about or a show about a Black martial artist or a Black ninja or something, you know, a woman that is kicking butt, and you're gonna do it yourself. you're going to make that your reality. You're going to create that representation. And I love that. And that is one reason why I'm like so proud of you, because we need that out there, not just Black women, but women. You know, I mean, we're always sexualized, hypersexualized, and we're put into these little boxes, but we're so complex. We can be so diverse if only our stories were told. Things are getting crazy, and especially with everybody having to be at home for an extended period of time, I think a lot of things are exacerbated. Domestic abuse, child abuse, just so if people are on edge because, you know, depression, mental health is unstable, and we need to protect ourselves. Literally, we need to not only like mentally protect ourselves, you know, stay in the word, read, get outside, exercise, but we need to know how to physically get ourselves together. And I love that about your Storms of Defense business, because it really reaches out to women and puts us in that mindset that, you know, we need to be strong too. So
yes, that's it.
I would love for you to elaborate on, you know, your production company, but also your Storms of Defense, because I can't fight. Your girl can't fight. Okay, I cannot fight, but I'll leave a mark if I have to. So maybe I need to be taking some of your classes.
Yes, because we've been training for just now it comes naturally to me, but doing for so long. But I'm teaching them how to defend off open hand stuff. You know, just you're walking down the street, some guy or whoever tries to like grab your wrist and, you know, pull. You don't want to go into the van, so like sex trafficking and stuff. You don't want to like get pulled away to someplace unknown by someone. You teach them how to defend off of simple things, and also how, like, if you're at gunpoint, what to do, or someone pulls a knife on you, what to do, and just basic like common sense of being aware of your surroundings, and just not being on your phone when you're crossing the street, you're walking down the street, especially at nighttime by yourself. People just take advantage of people who look vulnerable. Don't look like you're a victim. Look like you're ready to be a victim by being so vulnerable. Like, oh, they're not paying attention, and just easy target for people. You know, just really, really being aware, just basic things like that. But then should they get up close on you in your personal space, you be able to defend yourself, or at least do enough where you teach them either to the three options you have: either flight, like you run away, get away, you fight, or you freeze. Hopefully you don't freeze up, because then who knows what happens. Just, if I don't have to fight, I won't fight. Thank God I've never had to use any of my, stuff, because usually I don't walk down the street. I'm a fighter. I'm generally in stilettos and heels and, dresses and skirts and, girly and stuff. So I don't look like I'll be able to do anything. But if someone were to try me, they'd be, rude awakening.
Try Jesus.
Not
me. But I think you hit a key point. It's the awareness. If you are not aware of your surroundings, if you are not aware that, anything could happen, that you could be a victim at any time, that is what makes you look vulnerable. And that it may be, something subconscious, but other people can see that. They can feed off of that and see, like, you may be walking down the street with your stiletto heels and you may look dainty and uber feminine, but you've got that air of confidence, in the back of your mind, you could, twist somebody up if you needed to, where, basically, someone else that may not be quite so confident in their fighting skills may look a little more nervous, and we don't know that, those are things that somebody that is a predator would pick up on, but regular people that are just regular everyday people may not understand that. So I definitely agree with you on that. That was really, really important. You need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of what's happening behind you, what's happening in front of you. And I wasn't even thinking about the trafficking, but that's something that is a big thing happening and is very serious right now, and very important for us to be teaching our children to protect themselves and be hyper aware of their surroundings.
Even like when you said like when you're doing Uber or Lyft, like I used to drive for Lyft, and just being like as a passenger, I would tell people, make sure you check license plates, make sure their profile matches their faces on the listed, and make sure you confirm your address where you're going, as opposed to just letting them drive. Just make sure you follow the map along with your phone, stuff like that. And even as a driver, I would unlock my door, I would clear first, crack my window, hey, is this so-and-so? What's the name, and make sure I have the right people coming in. If it's a girl's name, but a guy comes here, like, who is this ride for? Different things like that happen. So you just got to be aware and make sure you're in the right car you're supposed to be in, especially. So.
Yes, and I see that. And I used to live in New York when I was in college, and I definitely did not. When you're young, you're drunk and you just go into any taxi cab, and you're not really being as safe as you
right.
And that's something that makes me nervous, especially being a mother of girls, but even boys, but especially with girls, I'm sorry, that I want them to be aware, and I want them to be safe when they're not with me, and I want them to feel as though they can protect themselves. So it's just one of those things.
It is scary, because you're, like you said, we're moms, so we're concerned about ourselves, but then we're also concerned about the little people that depend on us. Like, and my kids catch stuff by themselves to school and everything, so I'm actually okay with them. I love it doing a virtual schooling, because this would have been the first year going to separate schools, because my son just started 9th grade, so he and my daughter don't go to the same schools anymore. So they would have been catching stuff to individually going to different places. We're about them after school, so I'm happy that I know they're right upstairs. They're right, taking their classes together, and I know they're safe, they're fine, and I'm not worried about them being in the streets or something like that happening. Especially, I'm gonna say, especially my daughter, just because she's younger too, and being a female, that was a concern. I guess I probably would have been driving them to and from school every day if they were in regular school, because I'd be too scared to let them be by themselves.
I want to talk about like gun safety and the use of firearms as a means of self-defense.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to shoot a gun, never shot a gun, but put a gun up to me, I will defend myself. That's the thing. I know how to shoot. I will defend myself. I know how to not get shot.
Yeah.
To like that.
In my house, we believe that is a suitable way to protect yourself. And I feel as though there's some sort of a negative stigma about gun ownership and about gun safety, especially in the Black community. And, I feel like
I do want to learn, though.
Yeah.
I do want to go. So I'm inspired that you know how to shoot, that you can go to range. I haven't been to the range yet.
Well, so maybe you could come with me. That would be awesome too. That would be cool.
I would love to do that. I've never done.
I mean, that could even be. I've seen some women do like groups, like a gun gang, or I don't know what you would call it, like a not a gang. It's not a gang. Not a gang.
Gang.
Gang. But just, like a group where, women can feel comfortable, because, guns for so long have always been like the man thing. It's been a guy thing, and women need to be assured that it's for them too. That's self-defense. Like we talk about martial arts. Martial arts is kind of stigmatized as a guy thing. And
there are more guys than women in my class. This is why I like men.
Right. And a lot of women, and I think maybe why I fell off of martial arts too, was because I just didn't feel like it was girly enough for me, or creative enough for me. But
see, we started, my brothers and I were younger. My dad would start teaching us when we were younger in the basement. And then when we got a little bit older, a few months into, went to my uncle's school, which now it's called Black Lions Fighting System. So we did that under the Combative Way of Learning. So that's my uncle's school. Dr. Timothy Robinson. My dad is Al Robinson. So I usually have them, or my dad or someone on my pages and stuff like that. That's where I do all my training at. So shout out to them too. It used to be called Robinson Academy Martial Arts. Now it's called Black Lion Fighting Systems, the Combative Way of Learning. So shout out to my dad, Al Robinson, and my uncle, Dr. Timothy Robinson. Thank you guys for teaching me. All the other teachers, instructors. There's a bunch of us in my crew, but thank you guys.
Yes, it's a family affair. So I just want to thank you so much for being a guest on my show again. I know it was a little crazy, but that's what MYLF Podcast is. I'm a mom, you're a mom.
I'm a mom.
I'm a mom, you're a mom. We're all moms, hey. We touched on a lot of different subjects today, and I didn't even think we would talk about some of the topics that we talked about, but I feel as though, you know, this really
good.
Came to a nice round interview.
Good.
And
thank you for having me. Oh my goodness. I was so shocked when you asked me. I was like, oh, she wants me on that.
Yeah, of course I would have asked you. Oh my gosh, you've got like 10 businesses and you are like literally living the MYLF life right now. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
You're, you know, strong.
You inspired me too. Like the time I saw you on set before all this happened, I was like so happy, like, oh my goodness, I see her again. It was so cool. And to see with your husband on set and your daughter, I was so happy to see like all of us like, wow.
Yeah.
But my kids, they're not into, they don't want to be on set. So.
Yeah. Well, Leilani thinks she wants to do some acting, so I bring her along. Yeah. She's dramatic.
That's good when they want to.
But you know, they might pick up on other aspects of who you are, like what you're showing them, like that being a business owner is so important. Just stepping out on faith is so important. And when kids see that, you may not think that they're noticing, but when they become adults or when they come to a situation where they have to be strong and make that decision, you'll see that piece of you in them. You'll see that role model that, you know, that you set for them. You showed them that it can be done. Stepping out on faith is so important. And a lot of us, we hold back, and you didn't. And it will prove, it will, like you said, oh, I'm waiting for everything to manifest. And I'm like, well, dang, like, what else you need to manifest this? You got like everything in the bag right now. I know the money will come pouring down, but you've got it already. Everything is in its place. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. And believe me, it will hold, God will hold you and carry you through, and will provide for you tenfold.
That's what also happens. I tell the kids that they have to, now they kind of work for me, so they know how to do the business. I was like, hey, you want to make some money? So I'm not just giving out allowance to them. I'm like, no, I need a flyer for this. Make me this flyer. I need you to file some stuff, or not really file, but just like clean up some stuff, or they're just really doing stuff for the business. So that's how they earn. They'll text me, I need to make some extra money. What can I do? So they know if they gotta do services, they got to like work. Like mommy has to work minimum, you guys have to work. I'm not just giving you, handing out money. I mean, I'll pay for their essentials like their clothing, but anything that's just gonna make their money. I'm not just handing out money to them. So they know it's not gonna just come, but they have to work for it.
But you're establishing that mindset. Like, okay, they have to work for it, but they're looking for ways within their abilities to make some money. So you're establishing that entrepreneurial mindset already. You know, they're like, Mom, I'm gonna wash these dishes and you gonna give me $20.
Like that,
or what's the going rate for dishes these days? You get to live here.
Those kind of chores, those kind of things they just have to do. That's not really forced. They just have to do. That goes without questions. They have to do those. You're not getting paid to wash clothes. Like, listen, we all live here. We all, those things. The other things,
Well, you know, like making a flyer, you know.
Yes, they get paid for those.
That's awesome to be able to get into that graphic design. That's a whole thing in itself, you know. That's so awesome that you're teaching them that. And
thank you.
You're just so amazing.
Oh, thank you. I want to leave the legacy overall. I want my kids and people in general to just create their own opportunities. If they're not receiving what they feel like they should, they go out and produce their own. Just whatever it is, business or like acting, like I did a production company, just make your own avenue where you can shine. And only you know all your abilities, what you're good at. People may not see it because you may not be expressed, or because, some people are introverts or so humble. They feel like, I don't want to say this. But I'm like, no, let it shine. Do what you do. I'll be your cheerleader. Let them, let it shine through and just go for it. But overall, I will say to you all, thank you so much for listening. And my name is Lavitza Cameron. You can find me on Instagram, Lady Ninja Storm, also at SaSSinator, at Storms of Defense, and at Lady Ninja Storm Productions. On Facebook as well, the same thing. But also, if you want to look at everything, I do have a website for each of my businesses, but the one that encompasses all of them, you can find everything if you go to www.lavitzacameron.com. So there are tabs to take you to my other websites, or just to see everything that I'm doing in different bios. So I have, again, Lavitza Cameron, the mother, child of God, mother, actress, and now producer and writer and filmmaker in the making. All of that, that's under Lady Ninja Storm Productions. And my administrative services business, SaSSinator, simply Administrative Strategic Solutions. That's why there's an acronym. It's so long, SaSSinator. I am the SaSSinator. And then I have Storms of Defense, Lady Ninja Storm right here. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Dawn, so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and being a MILF.
I'm a MILF. You're a MILF.
We're all MILFs.
You've made it to the end of MYLF Podcast. Thank you so much for listening and subscribing to our channel. Thank you to the multi-talented, real-life Wonder Woman, our guest, Laveta Cameron, for giving us a glimpse of how to hold it down in the world of an entrepreneur, actor, SaSSinator, producer, ninja, and mother of two. Tune in next week to get your mind, body, and spirit right as we talk to the mother, womb healer herself, Miss Tiffany Barrett, model, actress, writer, producer, doula, and owner of the trend-setting yoni care company, Magic Bee Steam.